Levi Strauss shares fell the most on record on Thursday, down 16%. The reason why, from Bloomberg's Charlie Collett.
First quarter gross margin fell short of expectations due to increased promotions. The retailer reported gross margin of 55.8% in the 3-month period ending February 26th. That was below the 59.3% reported a year ago and less than the average analyst estimate of 56.9%. Retailer margins have been strained in recent quarters by higher transportation costs, as well as increased promotions used to offload excess inventory that piled up last year. Charlie Pellet, Bloomberg Radio.
Property taxes increased twice as fast last year than they did in 2021. Bloomberg's Karen Moscow has more.
Many areas in the South and West saw their property taxes increase by more than the national average. Still, a report from the real estate data firm Adams shows single-family home property taxes remain much lower in the Sun Belt than in the Northeast. On average, people in Florida paid less than $4,100 a year on property taxes in 2022, not even half the bill for a typical New Jersey resident. Karen Moscow, Bloomberg Radio.
Global news 24 hours a day, powered by more than 2,700 journalists and analysts in over 120 countries. I'm Susanna Palma. This is Bloomberg. Now Bloomberg Sports.
At the Masters, Brooks Koepka entered the third round with a 2-stroke lead. Tiger Woods makes the cut. The Yankees continue their weekend series with the Orioles at Camden Yards. Johnny Brito faces Cole Irvin. The Mets and Marlins play the second of 3 at Citi Field. NFL media reports ex-Giants wide receiver Richie James has agreed to terms with the Kansas City Chiefs. He had 4 touchdown receptions last season. NHL, the Rangers skate in Columbus. The Islanders host the Flyers, and the Devils visit the Bruins. That's a Bloomberg Sports Update. I'm Joel Stern.
This is Bloomberg Intelligence.
Spotify have always had fantastic user momentum.
Solar energy, the fastest growing corner of the energy market by far.
In-depth research and data on 2,000 companies and 130 industries.
The talent wars are right around Wall Street, but the buy side is sucking off of the sell side.
Aldi was the fastest growing grocery chain in the United States last year.
Bloomberg Intelligence with Alex Steele and Paul Sweeney on Bloomberg Radio.
Over the next hour, we're going to dig inside the big business stories impacting Wall Street and the global market.
Each and every week, we provide in-depth research and data on some of the 2,000 companies and 130 industries our analysts cover worldwide.
Today, we're going to take a look at struggling mortgage performance.
Plus, will a decline in Fed backstop lending help erase bank stress?
But first, the almost 1.4 trillion euro commercial real estate loans are now on investors' minds, and that's just over in Europe. And this comes after SVB's fallout really raised concerns over the sensitivity of highly leveraged sectors to rising interest rates. So for more on what this means to EU banks, we're joined now by Bloomberg Intelligence Senior Emerging European Banks Analyst Tomáš Nocil. Tomáš, what kind of banks in Europe are most exposed right now to the CRE market?
So if you look at Europe, you're right, it is around 1.4 trillion euros. If we include UK banks, it is around 1.6 trillion euros. And if you look into more details, volume-wise, the biggest exposure is in France, Germany, and UK. It is around more than 200 billion euros. And in terms of the percentage of total lending, it is on average around 6 to 7% across Europe. But if you look more into granular analysis shows that Nordic banks have much higher exposure of more than 10% of total loans.
So, Tomáš, what are we hearing from these banks here? How concerned are they? What are they saying?
Oh, that is very interesting because we have not had yet much from them, to be honest. When we're collecting data on commercial real estate in Europe, all I can tell you is it is not an easy task. You would think that this is the data that should be easily available. So we had to use Pillar 3 reports, annual reports presentation. We had to use regulatory data to get some sort of understanding what is the problem for European banks. Sometimes the definition of commercial real estate is also different across different lenders. So we had a lot of interaction with banks as well. And what we expect is that the banks will have to provide as much more harmonized